Hello, everybody. Welcome back. For today's Mind Body video, we are on week 3 of studying Alvin Ailey's Revelations. This is part of our celebration of Black History Month and this iconic dance work. So today we will be diving a little bit further into the music behind Revelations, and then watching our third and final section of Revelations today. So today we are going to be diving a little bit deeper into the music, right? We skimmed this a little bit over the last couple weeks, that the style of music that Alvin Ailey's Revelations is choreographed to are called spirituals, right? So we know that, but let's dive a little bit deeper today. If you would like to pause me and have student reader volunteers, please do. Otherwise, I will go ahead and read for us. So our guiding questions today: 1, what are spirituals? 2, why were spirituals important to enslaved people? And a little note on language. I'm going to be saying enslaved peoples instead of slaves because I think it highlights that people are first and foremost people, right? And 3, what are some common themes in spirituals? Okay, so a little bit about the history of spirituals. When Africans were brought to America as enslaved people in the 1700s and 1800s, they entered a frightening and dangerous world. However, one thing that gave enslaved people comfort in spite of the many hardships they endured was music, especially singing. When enslaved people sang together, they created a feeling of community. And I would say that's true for peoples in all times and places. Slaves were made to convert to Christianity, and spirituals were born from the mingling of Protestant hymns with African musical traditions. Some of the songs are easy to learn and to swing. Songs like Michael Row the Boat Ashore, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, and Go Down Moses are some examples of spirituals. I would say some of these are more maybe familiar in the popular culture, and some are less familiar. Originally, spirituals were created for a type of religious worship called a camp meeting. People would go into the woods and fields, camp out in tents, and attend worship services for several days at a time. Can you imagine? Then they took part in dances and song rituals from their homeland and sang Christian songs of faith, hope, and pain. Camp meetings were a way for people who lived far from a church to get together and worship. Since most of the people coming to camp meetings could not read or write because they were denied the ability, or rather the education, to learn to read and write, the songs they sang had to be easy to remember. Therefore, spirituals often use repetition and have a chorus, a part of the song that repeats after each verse. That way people could sing them without needing a book, right? So I don't know how many of you have ever seen a hymnal, and sometimes it has all the words to the song in it, right? So that you can just read it and you don't have to remember. But people didn't know how to read or write. These hymnals were not available. So the songs people were singing had to be easy to remember. They had to repeat a lot of the words. Call and response also made written music unnecessary. A leader could begin the song, the call, and then everyone else would answer, the response. And you can still see this in a lot of African-derived musical traditions today. A lot of call and response. I say it, you respond. As these songs were passed on through oral tradition, they didn't always have a set number of verses or even specific words. Leaders often made up the verses so that the spiritual reflected the lives and emotions of the community. As a result, every performance of a spiritual was unique. So remember, these songs came about at a time before there was recorded music. You couldn't just turn on an iPod or fire up your computer and look up these songs on YouTube, right? Every time people got together to make music, it was live. It was in person. And so each time they did it, it was unique. There's a picture of somebody playing a banjo. Okay, the function of spirituals. So these songs had many different purposes. Spirituals spread from camp meetings. Remember, those are the church meetings out in the woods, to plantations, becoming part of the everyday lives of enslaved people until the Civil War. These were functional songs, meaning they had a specific purpose in society. For example, and look, we have 4 different examples of their purpose. Work. Singing spirituals made work less boring and set a rhythm for repetitive work like picking or digging. And I don't know about you, but I have found that to be true in my own life. Sometimes I sing when I'm doing something boring, right? And I've definitely seen people sing to make repetitive work less boring, right? Could be farming, could be picking something. I would argue that's why we sing in the shower, to make it less boring. Anyway, so singing for work, to encourage people. Okay, number 2, worship. Even though some owners didn't allow their enslaved people to worship on the plantation, slaves found ways to make their own invisible church. At night, after the owners were asleep, slaves would often go into the woods, their invisible church, and worship where no one could see or hear them. Spirituals were an important part of this worship. So, religious worship, right? And maybe their captors didn't want them to be able to do this, so it was a form of resistance to be able to worship and practice as they pleased. Number 3, entertainment. At the end of a long day or during time off on a Sunday, enslaved people would often sing spirituals for relaxation. That one is pretty self-evident, right? Music as entertainment. And this one I think is really, really interesting. Code songs. One important function of spirituals was their use in helping enslaved people escape. Code songs, or songs that have hidden messages. So for example, the spiritual called Deep River might be sung to announce that there was going to be a meeting at the river. Here are some of the words. Deep River, my home is over Jordan. Yes, Deep River, Lord, I want to cross over into campground. So maybe somebody would hear that and be like, oh, they're just singing about a river. But somebody else might hear that and know, it's a message. We're having a meeting by the river. I think that's super fascinating. So when an enslaved person had run away and the master had discovered his absence, the other slaves on the plantation might sing Wade in the Water. I think that's one of the most famous, well-known spirituals. Slaves on neighboring plantations would hear the song and take it up. And the runaway, wherever he was, would know that he should take to the river, so that the bloodhounds, those are dogs, would not be able to follow his scent. So it's basically like a warning. You might hear people singing this song and know that it's a warning to watch out. Isn't that fascinating that music can be used like this? All right. And now the performance of spirituals. 2 main different types of spirituals, which I think we also covered on day 1. But it's a good reminder. So sorrow songs are sung slowly and mournfully and told of the heavy burden of slavery and the belief that a better day was coming. Jubilees are up-tempo songs celebrating victory and joy through reference to biblical figures like Samson or David, who overcame tremendous hardships. And I'm sure you can imagine why songs about overcoming hardship would be inspiring, right? If you yourself are in a situation of tremendous hardship, that could be very inspiring and something you would want to hear. All right. The music of revelations. So Revelations, as you know by now, is a dance in 3 sections, each choreographed to a selection of spirituals. And these are the 3 main sections. I'll just give you a second to look it over. We have already watched 1 and 2, and today we will be watching number 3. Sinnerman, I think we already watched last week, so we are doing the last 3 today. This section is called Move, Members, Move. Okay. Okay, so now I want you to quickly grab something to write on, something to write with, anything that is around you. And before we watch Revelations, I'm going to play you one of the spirituals from Revelations. And before you see anything, I want you to just listen to it. And as you listen to it, to just write down some words that occur to you, right? Maybe it's actions you see in your mind. Maybe it's moods or emotions. Maybe it's an action you could imagine somebody doing that goes with the music. Really, it's very, very open. I just want you to jot down words for the entire 2 minutes and 30 seconds of this song, okay? So that is your only job right now, is to listen to the music and jot down words that occur to you that you find from the song. I don't mean words you hear in the song. I mean, what does the song evoke in you? What emotions, what moods, what actions? All right? And I'll be doing this along with you. I've got my marker. Here we go.
My soul is glad. My soul is free. I'm going home. I'm going home to live with thee. Oh, rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Oh, rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Oh, in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul. Yeah. Oh, rock my soul. Rock my soul. My soul in the bosom of Abraham. Soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Oh, rock my soul. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Oh, rock my soul. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham.
All right. Woo! Epic song, right? So, I'm just going to share with you my words. Rock, swing, clap, happy, solidarity, soul, free, going home. I did get those from the words of the music. I couldn't help it. Undulate, open, community, wow. Those were my words. Okay, so now I'm going to play the song just one more time. It's a short one. And this time your job is to create gestures or movements for any of your favorite words. So maybe go ahead and circle a few of your favorites. I'm going to do it too. But just do as many as you have time for. Go ahead and create a gesture or a move for either your favorite words or as many as you have time to do. Okay, we have exactly 2 minutes and 30 seconds to create gestures or movements for as many of our words as we can. I'm going to do mine off camera so you don't get influenced by mine because I want you to do your own. It's coming.
Amiga, date cuenta.
Ugh. Okay, here it is. Have fun.
I barely wait. But now I'm strong. I'm leaning on. I'm leaning on. Oh, rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Oh, rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Oh, rock my soul. My soul is glad. My soul is free. I'm going home. I'm going home to live with thee. Oh, rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Gonna rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Oh, rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Oh, Lord, in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul. Yeah. Oh, rock my soul. Rock my soul. My soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Oh, rock my soul. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Oh, rock my soul. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the
Woo! All right. I hope you had a fun, creative time creating moves to go with your words. All right. So I'm going to show you one more thing before we get to watching, and that's some more gestures that we will be watching out for today. We did it the last few weeks, so why not look for them today? All right, here are the last few gestures we are watching out for today. Several women carrying stools. Where are they? What are they doing? What emotions are they showing while they're doing that? So watch out for stools. The women playfully chastise the men. Chastise means like scold. What gestures? I just did one. What gestures do they use to do this? Men carrying the stools. Why are they doing this? and the company is swept away in joy. Describe how the dancers portray this emotion. All right, those are 4 things you are looking out for today. Stools, chastising, stools, and joy.
The day is past, gone.
Lord, the day is past and gone.
The evening shade,
Lord, Lord,
oh, peace, Lord, may we all remember well that the night of death
time of death.
draws nigh.
Lord, the time of death draws nigh. Yeah. You may run on for a long time, run on for a long time. You may run on for a long time. Let me tell you, God Almighty gonna cut you down. Go tell that liar. Go tell the midnight rider. Tell the that rider. Tell him God Almighty gonna cut him down. My head got wet with the midnight dew. The morning star was a witness too. I never shall forget that day. Jesus washed my sins away. One day, I was walking along, heard a voice and saw no one. Voice I heard, it sound so sweet, made his blood run down on my feet. Go tell the liar, go tell the midnight rider, tell the that rider, you tell him God Almighty gonna cut him down. You read about Samson from his birth, long his man never lived on earth. Lived way back in ancient times, died with the help of the end of time. A lot of fools, Samson, don't you
right? Whew, pretty impressive. So let's check. Oh man, there's so much we could talk about, but let's check our gestures first. Did you see the women carrying the stools? I'm sure you did. Why? What do you think they did that for? What were they using them for? Yeah, maybe to show church, right? Sitting on a bench or sitting on a stool or a chair at church. I think the use of the prop makes it super memorable, right? Where else have you seen a dance that took place on stools? I don't know about you, but this is the only one I know. It's a super, super memorable, and they can do different types of movements using the stools, right? Last week we saw these giant, big kind of dancing, right? And dancing on a stool is just very, very different. So it created a whole new kind of dance language. Oh, okay, stop talking, Miss Susanna. What about women playfully chastising the men? Did you see anything like this? Or anything that looked like kind of playful chasing? Yeah? Okay, I'm sure you saw the men carrying the stools. And what about the company swept away in joy? Yeah, I'm sure you felt the joy from the end of that piece, right? There's smiling, there's clapping, there's such a sense of community among all of the dancers. So let's grab one more time our paper and pen. If we could talk about this, we would. But since I can't hear you talking back to me, you're going to write about it. And I'm going to give you a few minutes because I have so many different questions to ask you. I'm going to give you just a few minutes to answer some of these questions. Okay? So, number one. How was the dance you just saw similar or different to yours? When we listened to the song, which I'm sure you recognized, and we wrote about it and we imagined it and we created some of our own movements, how was the dance you just saw similar or different? Did you have any gestures that were the same or had a similar mood or emotion? Go ahead and write about that for just a second. Or if you're feeling it, you can go ahead and perform any of the gestures that you felt a connection to from the piece. I love this one. Okay. What do you think, now that you've seen all three parts, what do you think the Dance Revelations is about? How would you describe it to someone else that didn't know anything about Revelations? What do you think Revelations is about? Go ahead, jot it down. How did movement, costume, music, and lighting convey the meaning of the dance? How did movement, costume, music, and lighting contribute to what you just saw? I particularly love the sun in the background. I think it's gorgeous. And the lighting is so dramatic. Okay, dance is the language of the body. So think about that statement. Dance is the language of the body. Would you consider dance a universal language? Can you give examples of how you understand other people's messages through their movements? How can you tell if somebody is really nervous, happy, or angry? Have you seen somebody who seems frightened or frightening just from their body language? What about welcoming or comforting? So maybe take a second to answer any of those questions that most spoke to you. And finally, why do you think this dance has endured for over 50 years? Why do you think this dance has endured for over 50 years? I can tell you, having cried at several of these performances, that I think it really speaks to people's emotions in a really deep and meaningful way. The choreography is stellar. The dancers are amazing, right? And as you can see, there's so many different elements at work, right? Not only the dancing, but the costume and the lighting and the use of these spirituals, which have such a rich history, right, in American culture. So there's so many different elements that I think make this dance endure. Okay, dancers, now I have a very special treat for you. For our dancing time today, instead of watching me like we always do, I have invited a very special guest artist, aka we are going to watch a video with somebody who can lead you through some movements from Revelations much better than I could or I can. So we are going to be led today through some dancing with Hope Boykin, who is a dancer with Alvin, Ailey American Dance Theater. Woo! So you don't have to look at me anymore. We are going to be following Hope Boykin. Awesome. So stand up. Make sure you've got a little bit of space. Hope Boykin is going to lead us through some movements from Revelations. Yes, we get to actually experience it ourselves. And don't worry, she breaks the whole thing down in ways that are super duper easy. We can all totally handle this. I believe in you. Yeah, so don't worry, it's nothing crazy. We're not going to be doing quadruple spins or leaping in the air. It's all going to be movements that we can totally do, and we can even do it in a small space. Yeah? Okay, let's do it. Take it away, Hope Boykin.
To be here with you right now, celebrating Revelations. Alvin Ailey was just 29 years old when he created this master work, this masterpiece in 1960. So as we celebrate 60 years of Revelations and the 62nd anniversary of the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, I'm thrilled to be able to share this legacy with you. Especially since I'm in my 20th and final year with the company, I can't imagine a better way than to give you a Revelations-inspired workshop. So we're going to open our legs wide, wider than normal, reach our fingers to the floor, and then we're going to lift our hearts and our faces to the ceiling. We are already open and ready and surrendered. So then we're going to reach to the right, pull your body to one side, pull and stretch. Stretch, the opposite elbow is lifting to the ceiling. Now press everything away, face back to the ceiling. And then back to the opposite side. Reach your fingers down, wide second position in deep plie. Reach the right arm up to the sky, and then we're going to take our left arm and join it. Good. And then now reach forward to you and back up to the center. Forward toward me, back up to the center, and then bend both knees as we take one leg back. Make those signature Ailey arms, and then bring everything back down and reach up, 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 and open at your own timing. 8 counts to finish. So this time around, I'll give you less cues because you've seen the movement already, but I'll still help you out a little bit. Here we go. Faces up, and plie, reaching to one side. Opposite elbow pulling. Now stretch both legs. And change sides. Good. Pull, pull. Reach the arm to the ceiling. Reach to the sky. Pull everything up. Face up. Strong fingers. Tummies in. And to you, and then up. And again, reaching up. And drop down. Lift those signature Ailey arms. And scoop down. Bring your hands slightly together, but not all the way. Reach and take 8 counts. 8, 7, 6, 5. Rest. This time I won't say a word, we'll just dance together, okay? Ready? Mr. Ailey was born in Rogers, Texas in 1931. As a young boy, he got to see and experience things that many of us may never get to see, and one of those was a baptism down by the riverside. In the second section of Revelations, Take Me to the Water, we get to experience what it feels like for a young woman to traverse down to the river. She's fearful, she's not sure what to do, but she's ready to surrender. And with this section, we're going to learn a little bit of how that movement might be incorporated if we were wading in the water. So we started with our arms up. We're going to slowly melt down. We're right at the edge of the river. We're going to splash our faces. Again, reach up, and you're going to start to surrender. You're not sure exactly what's in store for you, but you know that you've got faith, and you're going to splash the water. Good, let's move on. We're going to lift one elbow and drop the opposite one. Whatever elbow is lifting, that's the way we're going to look over one shoulder. So the phrase we're going to do is going to be a slow, and then a slow again, and then a quick, slow, and a quick, slow. Let's start again. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Quick, slow, and quick. Let's go back from the beginning. Arms up and reach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we get to the water. We splash our faces. And we get ready to pull from one side to the other. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And quick, quick, slow. And quick, quick, slow. Good, good. So let's add one more part to that, all right? You're going to reach low as you wave the water away from you. And now we're going to reach in the center. This is the middle wave. And up. Now both arms are high. We're accepting the water now. Yes, and 1, and 2. And then we're going to sprinkle our fingers down. Let's do that again. So we've got low and low. And then low. On the opposite arm, reaching across. This is in the middle now. Pull and 1. Both arms high. And reach. Pull, reach. Wave the whole body. And then we're going to sprinkle. Let's take these around in a circle. And these middle 2 fingers are going to reach a little up to tempo. And reach. Both arms. Oh, good. And sprinkle. From the top. Reach and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sprinkle the water. We'll have slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, 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 quick, quick, slow, and wait in the water. Good, reach. Both arms high. And sprinkle. One more time. And reach. 2, 3, 4. Splash. 5, 6, 7. And slow, slow, quick, quick, slow, 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 quick, quick, slow, pull, and reach now, and high arms, yes, pull, and sprinkle. All right. So we've made it to the final section of Revelations. We've gone on a journey from struggle through surrender to salvation with Pilgrim of Sorrow, Take Me to the Water, and Now Move Members Move. I'm thrilled to be able to give you some of the movement that has audiences on their feet for 60 years. Are you ready? We're going to start with the clap and a rhythm combination. We'll go slow, then we'll speed it up. 1 and clap. 2 and clap. 3, look down. Look up, 2 claps. Again, 1, 2, look down, and then 2 claps. So whenever you're clapping to one side, you'll look away. You'll clap and you'll look away. You'll put your arms up, you'll look down. You'll look up, you clap twice. Here we go. 1, 1, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 8. Good. Now we're going to open, back, back, side. Walk around, 2, 3, 4. Right leg again. Right, back, back, side. Open, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Open, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Open, 2, 3, 4. Let's go back to the top with the claps. And 1, 2, 3, and 1. You're ready to open. 1, 2, 3, 4. Reach, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Walk 1. Hands, fists on your hips and knees. And push. And push. And push. Now at this point, 1. You know this one. We're going to go from the top, starting with the claps. last time, we're going to speed everything up to the tempo that we normally perform. 2 sets of ups, 2 sets of wipes, 4 knees, 4 points. Here we go. Thank you.
Yeah, dancers. Strike that final pose. 3, 2, 1. Yes. Imagine the crowd. Imagine the crowd clapping for you now. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I think it is so great to get to actually feel some of the movement in our bodies, right? We created our own movement. We imagined our own movement. We responded to it in all kinds of ways. But it's totally different to be able to actually feel what some of those movements feel like. If you want to find this video again, our guest instructor's name is Hope Boykin, and you can find her on YouTube. All right, dancers, I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. Have a beautiful, beautiful Black History Month. And hey, even if February is over, every month can be Black History Month. We should constantly be learning new things, right? So I hope that you've learned a lot from our 3-part series on Alvin Ailey and his masterpiece, Revelations. Bye, everybody. See you next time.